there's definitely many different things to look at in an animal study in terms of whether it was done well enough that you can believe the results. Was the agent clearly defined? Was the dose adequately monitored? Was the duration of treatment long enough? Was the route of exposure appropriate? Was the study big enough in terms of number of animals? Were males and female animals tested? Was there random allocation to groups? And lastly, were the data reported properly and then analyzed adequately? The rules for animal studies are, I'd say, a lot more concrete. You know, the basic thing is that we need increased incidence of benign or malignant neoplasms in 2 or more species or 2 or more independent studies. Unless we've got something really unusual on our hands in terms of an extremely rare tumor that nobody ever sees in animals, sometimes would appear, or something along those lines. That's really very, very exceptional. Now, if something is seen in a single study, or there are a lot of questions about the protocols used in many of the studies, or some other type of fairly specific issue in the body of data, then you can get to limited evidence. Inadequate evidence is certainly something that you do see at some of these things where we simply are no animal studies available, or at least none that were done at a high enough level of quality to be included. And then there's this thing here, evidence suggesting a lack of carcinogenicity. This is also a very high bar to meet, although it is meetable with animals because you can design protocols that cover a full range of exposures and do enough large studies to actually rule something out. But then the conclusions that you draw can only be limited to the scope of those experimental studies. So you can say, evidence suggests a lack of carcinogenicity in rats. So you have to draw the conclusions very, very narrowly if you use that 4th category.